I'll cover the last part of it, which is animation, which you will probably use the most in After Effects for this project. One of the things that distinguishes After Effects from Premiere is that it lets you animate images and vector files. So what I love to do is I would animate a lot of my site plans and presentation drawings. So one of the useful things I'm gonna show you is how to organize your files. So I normally would create folders to organize my files. So I'm just gonna dump everything Miriam had done into a folder so I can forget about it. And then I'm gonna create a folder for myself. And then I can do a new composition. This should be okay. And I'm gonna bring in a Illustrator file to just show you how that's done. So if you want to import all of your layers, you would go composition. Or if you want to do individual layers, you can go footage and then you can choose your layer. In my case, I'm gonna do the whole composition. And so here I have another folder that has my Illustrator layers. So it automatically created another composition for me. So I can just work in here. So I have a really simple Illustrator file with 3 layers. First, I'm gonna show you how to change the positions of a image. So if you click this little triangle under transform, there's 6 or 5 different way of animating something. So I'm gonna show you position first. So if you click on your layer, you can go P, and that gives your position. So it shows coordinates. If you're not happy with where your layer right now, you can change that. And what's really nice is that you can let the computer calculate it for you. So if I go divide by 2, I don't have to calculate it myself, and that would move on its own. So if I want to animate that action from one place to another, I could, if I go back, oops. Okay. I could click the stopwatch. That gives me a keyframe, and then drag my line. What I normally do is I would just change the setting. If you go 500, that would move it to wherever you want it. And then if you bring the slider back and then hit your space, that will slowly move. You can drag your key points to make it closer. And that will go to the position that I had planned. It's taking too long. But that is position. And then opacity, I use it a lot. If you select your layer and go O, sorry, it's T. If you press T, that'll give you opacity. That will let you fade in and out. So go back. I'm gonna choose a different layer actually. So now if I go T, again, press your stopwatch, slide, and then you can enter. If I wanted to completely disappear, I'll go 0, and that'll give me a different keyframe. So not showing up very well. So that'll fade in, fade out. Whatever you do, if you want to delete a keyframe, you can just click on the keyframe and hit delete. That'll make it disappear. But don't try to, I would be careful pressing the stopwatch again once you have keyframe set up, because if you press it, your keyframes are gone. So keep that in mind. Next thing is rotation. Rotation is, I'm going to choose a different number. Actually, I'm going to forget this and import something else to make it easier. Okay. So now I have this tiny little image, and I am going to rotate it. If you go, you select it and hit R, that will bring out rotation. I will hit the stopwatch, and if you want it to rotate by a certain degrees, you can enter the degrees, and then that will make it rotate. Or if you want it to rotate a couple times, you can enter the in front of the little X that shows how many times it will rotate. So if I go 2, that should rotate 2 times before it hits. Well, that goes back because I didn't specify how many times it would rotate the second time. Okay, and then I'm gonna go to anchor point. Delete this. Delete. If you go A, that'll give you the anchor point. Anchor point is the point in which the image is centered at, so where it'll rotate and stuff. So actually I'm gonna do the rotation as well so you can see. If you want to see all of them, you can go to transform and they're all there. So if I set up rotation quickly, we'll go 80. Okay. And I will also change my anchor point halfway through. Again, I can let it calculate. So you can see the image moved because the anchor point moved, and the point of rotation has changed because I had changed that. So that's your basic animation. One thing that you would want to know is easy ease frames, because when you animate something, it doesn't seem smooth, and if you do want it to look smooth, you can select your anchor point or your keyframe and hit F9. Oh, it's not working here. Okay, that doesn't work. Or you could go object, which I do not see here. Okay. Does anybody see object here? Here, keyframe assistance. And so you right click and go to keyframe assistance and go to easy ease. And you should have noticed that the keyframe changed to a little hourglass looking thing. So if I play that again, it should kind of slow down before it stops all of a sudden. So that's a good thing to use when you're trying to create smooth animation. Another thing is parenting. So if you have a series of images that you want to animate, and you want them to all do the same thing, then you can set them up to so that you only need to do animation of one thing. So I'm just going to draw a few boxes here. I use the square tool here. Okay. So here I have 2 new layers. I'm gonna not see this one. So if I quickly set up this to, oh, I didn't cover scale, so I'm gonna show you scale here. If you hit S, that's scale. I will do a little keyframe, press your stopwatch, change the scale to 50%. So if you play that, that will change in scale. And then I want the other square that I did to do the same thing. So then I would set, there's a little swirl kind of icon under parent, click that, and drag it to the second square. And then that has just made the second square to be the parent. Oh, I did it the other way. You should do this. It doesn't work. Shape 2. I always get confused with which is the parent and which is the child. So I believe, okay, hang on. I believe if I do this, it should, nope, that doesn't do it. Okay. Or if I do this, shape 1. Okay, I'm not going to waste my time on it. If you want to know how to do this, I can figure it out for you.